may just be a dirty old man. Here it comes. But I almost don't mind if you're standing in front of me while I do this. And I did what we...
That is a little bit more creepy. I'll give her some credit. Oh. You know, you started off with, I'm a dirty old man. Nah, no, stay right there. Yeah, I like looking at you as I do my flies. I'm getting a pump upstairs and I'm getting a pump downstairs, if you know what I'm saying. Hey. So back when I was a Christian and conservative as a result of my Christianity, this was one of the chicks that you get recommended in the conservative space, man. So I haven't seen her in quite a while is the point I'm making here. But I got recommended this video out of nowhere. And I thought the title was interesting. He approached her at Whole Foods. She blasts him online. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what the story is here.
Fellas, have you ever thought about approaching a girl that you think is cute? Maybe at a grocery store, you start off by asking her about a recommendation or starting off some fun little banter in hopes of building good rapport and getting her number? Well, don't, apparently, because the worst thing she could do is actually not just saying no. The worst thing she could do is to go in her car, film a TikTok afterward, and call you a freak for even starting the interaction. Guys, let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe, because today we're going to be reacting to a viral video of a girl, which I don't even know who this girl is. It just started circulating on my page. She's in her car and she's complaining about a guy who approached
does she have hairy armpits? She looks like a hairy armpits kind of chick.
her at Whole Foods. Now, you're thinking this would probably be a pretty negative interaction. If it's worth making a TikTok story time over, this guy must have done something really wrong. Well, we're about to find out. Let's watch the video.
Oh my God. These men are crazy. They're relentless. They're ruthless. I'm in Whole Foods.
Wait a second. Oh, that looks pretty shaved. Okay, all right, I'm listening.
In Whole Foods, right? And I'm shopping in the cosmetic section because I like to decompress, okay? And while I'm in there, this guy comes and stands next to me, and he's holding shampoo and conditioner, and he's looking at what I'm looking at, and then he's like, do you have a moisturizer recommendation? Like, I was told I need a moisturizer.
Where is this gonna go? Don't tell me this bitch got mad because a nigga asked her for a fucking product recommendation.
Which already I'm like, a woman told you
That's sexual harassment, actually.
need a moisturizer, because your homeboys are definitely not saying, hey buddy, you're looking a little crusty, you might need a moisturizer. So I'm like, okay, red flag, whatever.
Red
And
flag?
I'm like, I don't know. You don't.
Red flag? Maybe the nigga just is like starting to kind of give a fuck about skincare, but he don't really know shit about skincare. You're a woman, which means is a 50%, 80% chance you do. Wow, that's insane.
Want to ask me. Meanwhile, I'm like looking at all the mad hippie shit, right? And so he's standing there. He's like, I like your tattoos.
All right.
That's really why I came over to talk to you. I saw you over there. And I was like, oh, so you're following me. And he was like, whoa. I'm not following you.
Following?
And I'm like, okay, whatever. So then he was like, you really don't have a moisturizer recommendation? So I show him the Mad Hippie, and I go, this is literally the moisturizer that I use every single day. This is my favorite.
Okay.
And he picks it up. He's like, all right, I'll take a recommendation. And then he walks away. I just had a feeling, did a circle around the block. The moisturizer that he had taken, he had circled back when I went around the corner and put it back. Okay, you little freak.
What? Okay, guys, let's break down this interaction. Let's do it for a second. Okay, so she starts off by saying men are crazy and ruthless. Okay, crazy and ruthless. These are some pretty big words to be thrown
crazy and ruthless. All right.
out there. This guy approaches you at Whole Foods and he says, hey, do you have a moisturizer to recommend? As you're standing there looking at moisturizers. And
She should have just said he was fucking ugly. That's really all I'm hearing, because if this nigga looked like Brad Pitt in the 90s, she would have fucking given that nigga a whole skincare routine. She would have walked him down the aisle and said, okay, you got to use this for the fucking toner. You got to get this moisturizer. Ooh, you should try this fucking vitamin C serum. And what about your hair? You got any conditioner? What you using the shampoo? Like, she would have given this nigga an entire beauty routine. But probably because she didn't find him attractive, bro asked for one recommendation for something, after which he promptly left because he could sense that her vibe, she wasn't interested. He didn't even notice. She don't even say that he actually tried to ask for her number. Bro at least had enough game, I suppose we could say, to detect that she wasn't interested, and so didn't even go any further to try and make her feel uncomfortable. Not that he was doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with going up to a girl and shooting your shot. You know what I'm saying? But he could sense, all right, she's not really feeling me based on how she's talking to me right now. I paid her a compliment. You know, she didn't seem to receive that too well. So I'm going to just dip. Thanks for the recommendation. Now, he gave it away that he really wasn't looking for a recommendation. He really should have just went up and just straight up introduced himself and asked her if he could take her out to get some coffee or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But if he was going to do the moisturizer thing as like an icebreaker, he definitely should not have then confessed that he didn't actually want a moisturizer. That just makes him seem a little bit timid, cowardly. And then, okay, but he didn't want the shit. She didn't want him. He doesn't really want the moisturizer. He goes and puts it back. I don't see any, I don't get this shit, man. Only women. This is just how bitches get more validation from the internet. Because every time I've ever been hit on by a chick that I wasn't interested in, that shit didn't make me upset. Why would you ever get upset because somebody is essentially saying that they find you attractive? How do you get in a car and then bitch and moan on TikTok for some shit like that? I don't get it.
You know, he even says, he straight up tells you, the real reason I walked up to you is not for the moisturizer. It's because I like your tattoos. I thought you were attractive. That's the real reason I'm speaking to you. So there's no smoke and mirrors here. He straight up tells you that. And then you say, oh, so you were following me? You know how crazy that is? If I'm a guy trying to approach you because I see like, oh, I think you're cute. She seems nice. Let me go approach her. And then I get accused of following her. Whoa, am I going to back up? So he backs up and goes like, okay, can I at least have the fake moisturizer recommendation that I came to you for? Then you recommend the moisturizer. And then Einstein here goes, I just had a feeling he didn't really want the moisturizer, which he told you.
Yeah, Mike Too Nice, you're completely correct. Bro dodged a major bullet. And look, there are some pretty, chill chicks with tattoos, but I ain't gonna lie to you, even though I have mad tattoos, bro, I think when chicks have a lot of tattoos like this, it's a fucking red flag. Either they end up being a fucking thought or they're like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm truly surprised she doesn't have armpit hair, bro.
And then
she lives in a fucking van, bro. She's one of these Californian van girl hippie girls. She probably doesn't smell good. I'll be real with you. I don't know, but maybe she does. She shaves her armpits, so she might not take it to that extreme where she also doesn't shower.
Back and the moisturizer is left there, and he's the freak. Now, how often have you guys, even as girls, wanted to maybe approach somebody or wanted them to approach you, and you don't just want to come in hot and be like,
hey, I think you're really attractive. Can I get your number?
So you come up with some other way to do it. I mean, it's been the I guess conundrum of generations. The fake dropping of the pencil or the handkerchief, the random question you ask somebody is to getting your foot in the door and to sort of feel what their vibe is, to see if they're open to a conversation like that. And I guess that's what this guy tried. He said, hey, could you recommend a moisturizer? And immediately she's like, you're following me. So I think he figured out, maybe I don't jump from the moisturizer to asking her for her number. I go back to the moisturizer, pretend to take the recommendation to get out of the situation. And he's actually kind enough. You know how customers will pick something up and then they realize they don't want it, so they just like stash it at some other place in the store. He actually took the time to walk back, put the moisturizer back where he found it, and go about his day after a girl accused him of following her. Now, he's the freak. He's the crazy one. She says guys are ruthless. What is ruthless about what that man did? And again, I need to throw this out here. Okay, there are going to be girls who I guess agree with this because this TikTok did blow up, and there's going to be ones who don't. For the people who agree with her reaction to this, what was he supposed to do? Like, what is a nicer, less
Be more attractive. That's the mistake he made. That's the offense that he committed. He wasn't good looking enough for her or some shit.
Alarming way to approach a woman in public, because people are trying to figure this out. We have this article out of the New York Times that reads, "Men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls, filters, and curated personas, dabbling and scrolling. We miss you." So somebody's saying, "We miss you, men." I saw a Reddit post that went like kind of banger of this girl saying, "I'm out here, I'm 25, I'm female, I'm trying to meet men, but I'm never getting approached. Is there a certain look or energy that I can give off that says I want to be approached? I'm not really into dating apps and I want to meet somebody in person." And she's asking how to do this. And now a man responds, "Unless a woman gives me an irrefutable sign that she wants my attention, I will never in a million years approach her, because nowadays we are taught that women want to be left alone and we are perceived as a nuisance at best and a threat at worst." And this does seem to be an ever-present trend that I'm witnessing online of young girls like the one we just witnessed getting in their cars or filming a video, a story time about meeting a man where they say he is a nuisance or he disrespected her or that she's just so annoyed by the presence of men. And they get into the story and it sounds a whole lot like anybody would approach anyone in trying to just start a friendly conversation, let alone a romantic conversation. And this seems to be a plague amongst men in our dating hellscape these days. Here is another headline about some stats here. Almost half of young men have never approached a woman romantically. And this is particularly affecting men aged 18 to 25. And they're saying 50%, nearly 50% of them have never, ever, not once, approached a woman with a sort of romantic energy in mind, even to ask them for a moisturizer recommendation in hopes of then going on to get their number. 50% of young men have not done that.
Bro, I don't blame them. I really don't, for the reasons that she said. Now, culturally, men are being conditioned to see themselves as fucking just criminals. You're just a criminal because you're a man. Just because you got a schlong, you're the enemy. That is kind of how society seems to be painted men. You know, guilty till proven innocent. A pervert, an asshole until proven otherwise. And so I can see why a lot of dudes will take that. Now, I don't say you should do that. I don't think you should allow the external to ever dictate how you feel or what you do. But I can understand. I can understand why a lot of young men feel like it's not worth it. Because even if, you know, I mean, now bitches are taking experiences like that and getting on fucking TikTok and making entire TikTok stories about you. Yeah.
That. And we've reacted to videos like this before. I'm going to pull up this one because this is just a super dramatic example of a young woman who was complimented at the gym, and she freaks out on him.
Another white chick covered in tattoos who got incredibly offended because a guy approached her and paid her a compliment. Let's watch.
Tries to force him to apologize, and it doesn't go like she thinks it's gonna go. Let's watch.
So an Ottawa police officer just sexually harassed me at the gym. As one does, of course. He was doing chest flies. I was standing in front of him, and I was respecting him in his space and wanted him to be able to see his form, so I kept moving out of the way so that he could see himself in the mirror. And after I did this twice, he stops me, and he's like, "Yeah, it's okay. I may just be a dirty old man. Here it comes. But I almost don't mind if you're standing in front of me while I do this." And I did what we...
That is a little bit more creepy. I'll give her some credit. Oh. You know, you started off with, "I'm a dirty old man." Nah, no, stay right there. Yeah, I like looking at you as I do my flies. I'm getting a pump upstairs and I'm getting a pump downstairs, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm sorry, lady. You might have a point here. Shout out to Cold Killer with the sub. My bad. I might have jumped the gun on this one.
We all do as women when we get comments like that. I just went, ha, turned around and I was like, I hate men. And then I was really pissed and went to turn around to tell him, like, this is not okay. And here is why. And he was gone. I got
Okay, so you got a compliment from a man. You didn't quite appreciate the compliment, maybe because he said dirty old man. Now, I wouldn't necessarily lead with that if I was hoping to, gain anything like a number or a date or something like that. But he quite literally was not sexually harassing you.
Nah, Amadou, don't get all pick me on this shit now. That was some fucking. I'll let you know that was some weirdo old man fucking shit right there. That was you. Oh yeah, no, it's okay. Don't worry, little lady. You stay right there. Yeah, I likes looking at you. That shit will make a chick feel uncomfortable. All he had to say was, "You're good." No, you're good. You don't gotta worry about me. You're not in my way. I'm chilling. That's it. If he was really trying to say, "Oh, you don't need to be doing this hopscotch shit to accommodate me." And they're nicer, they're more smooth, less creepy ways to pay a chick a compliment. But I really don't think the gym is a good place to be shooting your shot at a chick anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Because if he was, he probably would have stayed there and harassed you. He gave you the compliment, and then you want to complain about the sexual harassment. And, the harasser is gone. He's not a very good sexual harasser, I guess, if he decided to leave you after giving you the compliment.
a good life.
Maybe he could sense how disgusted she was by this, I guess we can call it a compliment. That ain't really a compliment. Like, it's not a compliment to walk up to a girl and be like, damn, you got a fat ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, girl, you fucking sexy as fuck. That, depending on, delivery, context, place, aura, you could probably get away with saying that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, compliments just shouldn't be too sexually charged. Man, I love your titties. That's going too far. You can't do that, bro. You gotta be, you look nice. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't go too much deeper than that. You look nice. I saw you over there. I thought you looked good. That's about it. You feel me? If you're gonna pay a compliment, you don't even gotta do that necessarily. Hey, shout out to the anonymous gifter, man. Thank you. I appreciate the subs, bro.
Associate told her, and she wanted to see where it happened so that she could find it on camera, because I was like, I don't want to come back here with this dude. Like, I'm uncomfortable as shit right now. He was there. I was like, oh, this is him. Confronted him. And then
hey, shout out to Bug. Shout out to King Bug, man. With the 2 gifted. Thanks, bro.
I told him that was not okay. You made me feel uncomfortable. He was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, like, this is not cool. It's not okay. Then he tells me, I actually rescind my apology.
Okay. And that's the most like baller G reaction you could possibly have to that. We don't need to watch the rest of the video, but the guy literally rescinds his apology and says, you're nuts.
No, it's not okay. I'm autistic. This is my safe space.
Oh, she's autistic too? Well, how we supposed to know that? Nobody's gonna know that.
Come here to lift, and you're disgusting. As I'm moving out of the way so you can see yourself in the mirror, you.
Wow.
Wow, what?
I rescind my apology. You're nuts.
Actually, you're
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. And then she uploaded that shit. Wow, she really was smoking something thinking that. See, she had me in the first half, but bro apologized. He dead ass apologized. In fact, he could probably feel that he made you uncomfortable by the way you reacted to his comment. And so he got out the way. He's like, shit, let me get out of here. I don't want to make this chick any more uncomfortable. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He's older. His game is probably rusty. He thought he could say some shit like that and it would go over well. It didn't. Okay. And even LeBron James misses layups from time to time. And so he moved. But you could still say that was a little nasty how he said that shit. It was a little creepy. Okay. You want to speak up for yourself? That's doing a little too much, I think. I think some things you should just let go and just move on with your life. But all right. Bro apologized. He straight up apologized. And then you go into full bitch mode. Yeah. now you lost it there at the end.
I regret ever saying anything to you ever. I rescind my apology, which is what should happen in these situations. I don't know the answer to this. We found the problem here. The problem is that it is really difficult to approach in our modern society. Anyways, everybody's online. Social cues are not being, witnessed or recognized. And even with them being recognized, it's really difficult to just put yourself out there. Then you run the risk of somebody making a TikTok story time about you later, calling you a freak and saying you're ruthless or saying that you sexually harassed her. So there's a lot of issues circulating, but we do know that there are women out there who want to be approached, and there are men out there who want to do the approaching. So how do we get these two to meet? Is there an irrefutable sign that you can give out as a woman that you want to be approached? Because a smile and a sort of nice gesture or a nice look doesn't seem to be doing it anymore. And is there, as a man, a way that you can approach a woman that is irrefutable so as to not get you accused of being a freak sexual harasser?
Yeah, actually the most direct approach is, in my opinion, the safest way to not get labeled as a freak. If you go up to a girl and just be like, hey, I saw you over there, thought you looked good, let me take you out to coffee sometime. Or, can I take you to get some coffee? Can I take you, get a smoothie, some shit like that? At that point, it's yes or no. That's it. It's simple. Yes or no. She says yes. You know what I'm saying? You give her your number, you take her number. She says no, you say, okay, no, that's great. Well, you have a great day. Keep doing your thing. Walk off. How is she going to frame that as you being a creep, a pervert, a weirdo? It's not possible. She's going to get clowned to oblivion by the TikTok comments. Oh my gosh, today a guy saw me in the mall. He walked up to me. He paid me a compliment, said I look good, and then asked me if I wanted to get fucking coffee. Ew. Weirdo. Creep alert. Yeah, that chick, she gonna delete her TikTok account because the comments is just gonna be flooded with people calling her out. And, what I'm saying, Abba and Preach gonna make a fucking video about you, clowning you. Now millions of people gonna be clowning you. So, like with so many other things in life, it's beating around the bush that gets you trouble. You don't ever want to beat around the bush, bro. You want to go right into the bush. Okay.
I don't know. I'm actually going to have to rely on you guys in the comments down below to let me know what you can and cannot do. Have you been successful in approaching women? Have you been unsuccessful in approaching women? Have you, God forbid, ever had a TikTok story time made about you after you have approached somebody? I'm not sure what there is to be done in a world where oppression is social currency, where TikTok story times are social currency, where young women constantly love to speak about how much they hate men and constantly like to play up these interactions with men. And I will say, there are plenty of actual harmful harassment-based interactions that women have with men on any given day. But when you are a woman who cries wolf on social media or plays up what are pretty benign social interactions online, you make it harder for real victims to come forward and share their story with men. Because as far as I'm concerned, with the two stories we've seen in today's video, those were just normal men who were approaching or maybe throwing out a comment that for sure, I guess, didn't land with these women, but they didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with shooting your shot. So for them to turn around and pull out their phone camera and make a video like this, trying to play it up as if there's something wrong with it, it's only going to degrade our social fabric in this society. It's only going to degrade dating and make it into more of a hellscape than it already is. It's very difficult to figure out what type of woman you're approaching and if they're going to be the type to make a video like this. I'd like to think that by and large, most women are not like this, but my goodness, would it be rough to run into somebody who is. So
yeah, so there you go, my brothers. Be on the lookout, man, because these bitches making TikToks about you nowadays. Like I said, keep it simple, keep it short, keep it sweet, and keep it straight to the point. So hard, so difficult for someone to clown you for some shit like that. It's respect. Even if she done turned you down, she gonna respect you just because you had the balls to just put it out there.